Good evening, everybody. How are we doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Oh, we're back.
Hey,
Yeah.
Woo!
We survived. Oh, man. So, Mix Off Monday with Clusters of Eyes. Chris, I think you're still muted. You still there?
You're right. I was still muted.
Yeah, there we go.
It's gonna happen at least once.
So, good evening. Good evening, Chris. Good evening, Addy. Good evening, Frank. And hello, Dave from Clusters of Eyes. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being part of this. How are we all doing? What's new? What's not new? What's been happening for you all? Anyone want to take that question?
All is well. Everything is good.
Well done on your interview, by the way, with Warren recently. That was awesome.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I was pretty excited.
I can imagine I'd be as well.
Of course, but I had a lot of fun. This guy is amazing.
Nice. So, any new projects for you out there at the moment, Addy?
Oh yeah, it was actually at the end of the year the craziest week. We recorded the artist. She came from Israel to Morocco, and we made a spontaneous gig that it was later streamed online, and I think all the tickets were sold. And it was a crazy experience. We had just one day to record it. On the next day, it had to be ready, like with audio and video. So and everybody loved it. So I was really, really happy. And on the other side, I broke my headphones for mixing and tried to bring new ones. Tried to get new ones from Germany. I bought them used, and they are now on the way from Germany to Morocco. I hope quick.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Nice one. How about yourself, Chris? How you been? What's new with you? What's been going on with yourself?
Doing good. Pulling in a couple projects here and there. Working on a really big swing project that I know I've talked to a couple of you guys about. That's been good, but keeping me busy at the same point. But all in all, just getting ready for the holidays and getting plans set up for next year as well, and this being one of them.
Nice. No, good. And Frank?
Yeah, well, bit quiet on the music front, but I have been planning to upgrade my desk. Although I say desk, it's not a mixing console desk. It's just a
Framework.
piece of plywood.
Yep.
But I'm gonna try and put a control surface fader and pan pot into the desk, so it sits in there. This is why we've got some.
Are you actually making it?
Motorized fader.
Are you making it then?
No, it's a fader port.
Oh, okay.
The original one.
Yep.
That I've just torn apart and just replaced the cap, the little fader cap. And yeah, so I haven't started it yet because I've got to drill some holes in my desk to get it through. But that's what I'm planning to do in my downtime, basically.
Cool.
Well, I don't have to use my desk.
Yeah, no, it's a nice little project. It's always good to have little projects like that. I'll be interested to see how it pans out, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It'll be cool.
And so, David, Mr. Clusters of Eyes himself.
Right.
What's new with you, sir? What have you been up to, other than waiting for us to be able to do this show, unfortunately? Sorry.
Oh, no, this is the most excitement I've had in weeks already. I guess with some downtime, I've been trying to put a little studio together. We run a music venue and deal, so downstairs in the cellar, I've kind of been trying to kit something out, and it's come together okay. It's kind of very low ceiling, but yeah, that's good. I played some guitar on a track from my mate Will Varley the other day. Apart from that, not a great deal, as we all know.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hard to do anything at the moment, eh? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Really nice to see you all. My humblest apologies for the delay on this show going out originally. I know it's a month behind, but circumstances were that we just couldn't do anything else, unfortunately. For those that are new that are tuning in, thank you very much. Lovely to see you. I'll explain a little bit about what Mix Off Monday is all about. So we're a group of engineers and producers that have various online studios, and recording facilities in whatever forms they may be, which we'll explain more as the show goes on, and I'll get the guys to tell a bit more about what they're doing and what they have and all that sort of thing, where you can find them. But the whole point of Mix Off Monday is literally for independent artists, to send us a track. We'll mix it for free and master it. And then we come on this show and present it live to the artist. So in this case, it's Clusters of Eyes this time with David. He sent us a track. Me, Addy, Frank, and Chris all went away and did our own mixes and production things to it. And today we're now presenting it to Dave. And we're going to all critique it, talk about it, discuss what we did, why we chose certain decisions. And then at the end, if Dave's up to it and cool with it, he will pick his preferred version. And then obviously post that. If you then, as an independent artist, wish to then get the rest of your album done by any one of us, you then got direct link to us to then discuss further details with that. We're also linked in with XRP Radio, and the track that gets chosen will be played on XRP Radio the following week. So yeah, that's basically the deal. So if you're interested and want to know more, or just want to just say hi, or if you're a mix engineer and want to be a guest mix engineer on the show, then please ping us an email, info@marleraudio.com. So yeah, that's basically the crux of it. At some point on these videos, I'm just going to stop explaining about it because it's there for all to see, but it's always good to just share that initially. So yeah, Dave, so tell us a little bit about the history of Clusters of Eyes and yourself, really, and what the deal is.
Well, it feels like this is a project I've kind of picked back up after leaving it for, I don't know, maybe a couple of decades. In the time in between, I got involved in playing lots of different bands, more like traditional kind of, well, not traditional, all sorts of stuff, but mainly playing just for guitar or just for bass guitar. But I had this old little rough and ready demo, which I used to do on, I don't know if anyone used to use, it's called FL Studio now, but it used to be called Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops, yep.
Did a whole album on Fruity Loops. And it just kind of sat there on a hard drive. And I thought one day I'd quite like to do something again in that format. And a couple of years ago, I just approached my brother and said, can we do something a bit like this? Maybe a bit more organic. So he happily played drums, but I guess the idea is meant to be an electronica project. But it's gone a little bit more bandy, especially this track is easily the most sort of organic, bandy sounding track we've got.
And it's a great track too. I might add, everybody absolutely loves it. All the guys.
Can I just say thanks to all these chaps, all you guys. Like, it's a lot of man hours I'm sure you put into doing this, so it's very much appreciated.
Honestly, man, it's our pleasure. I'm speaking for everyone there, by the way. I'm sorry, guys. It's our pleasure. Yeah,
it's a ball ache, absolute ball ache.
Yeah. No, but it was good fun, and this is what this show's all about. Like, we love doing this, and it doesn't hurt to do the odd one, here and there free. Do you know what I mean? That's the point of it, really. It's a good experiment. It's good for us as well, because we learn things from each other. Like, that's the whole point of this as well, is we're sharing knowledge with each other, and we're picking up tips and tricks. And I think that will come evident when we get further in. Like, I think my version's stolen a few ideas from Frank in the past from these episodes. So it's like
equally, I'd like to also return the favor and lend my sort of less experienced skills as a guest engineer or producer as well at some point.
Dave, honestly, it would be an honor to have you on, mate. I mean, I think I spoke to you about that before anyway at some point, to have you as a guest engineer. So yeah, no, most definitely. Obviously, if you hear of a project and you think it's worth us putting on the show and you want to present that with us, then you can. Or if I find something that I think would work, then I'll let you know. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, happily, I'll be all ears. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool. So, let's talk about influences. Like, so you mentioned that you've gone through various different bands and stuff. I mean, me and you have been in a band at one stage. In the past
Kokos.
And stuff. Yeah, old Kokos days. So yeah, let's talk about your influences, which I know are very wide and varied. So it's going to be hard to nail it down. But
it's probably easier if I talk about my influences in regards to this project, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Keep it a sort of a narrower band of stuff. I don't know, bands like, I don't know, Left Field. I say bands quite loosely, but producers like Left Field. There's a group called a German group called Mouse on Mars. I really like. I'm quite partial to Depeche Mode.
Yep. Fair play.
Who else? Stuff like Add Into X, who sort of big on their analog synths and chaotic kind of sounds. DJ Shadow.
Yep. You
Yeah,
can definitely hear that in this track. There's
in
definitely,
this one particularly, I reckon,
yeah, without a
Mm.
doubt, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, just a quick question, and then I'll let the guys ask some things because I'm sort of taking most of the reign here, unfortunately.
Go for
Sorry.
it.
So three influential tracks that you like, your favourite tracks, as it were.
What? You can't just ask a man that off the cuff.
Oh man, I can.
No
I
way.
did.
Oh,
Don't worry if not.
no, pass.
Pass. That's good. That's a good answer.
It'll probably be something like, I don't know. I don't want to end up saying something like Fleetwood Mac.
You just did. Fleetwood Mac. Which track?
This is better. No, I don't know. I'll come back to you on that one.
Okay, cool. Have you guys got any questions you'd like to ask Dave?
No, brilliant. Let's
That's yeah, deadly
Oh,
silence from the
fine.
room there.
I can jump in. Since I'm not, and this will be evident as we get farther into it, but I'm not an electronic person. I come from hard rock and metal
Okay.
and all that. But looking down through the tracks, there's some really interesting tracks here in terms of fish toy radio and toy space organ and all these crazy things, and it just kind of walk through your process of how do you find these sounds, or do you just hear something and say, oh, I know exactly where to put it, or kind of how do you go about that?
I don't know. The fish toy radio is actually how it sounds. It's this little. I think it's designed to go in your shower once you're, and it's just got. It's a little FM radio, and it doesn't work very well. And where my studio is, it's underground, so you're not really picking much up anyway. So
Okay.
you just kind of get these weird little frequencies coming through, and you just put a microphone right up to a little tiny speaker on it, and it does its thing. It kind of sings to you. But yes, a mixture of me trying to have a solid foundation with some fairly kind of repetitive robotic riffs, but with some kind of free-flowing ambient stuff on the top, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can definitely feel that. And hear
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great groove to it for sure.
Yeah, my brother's a really good drummer, so that helps.
He's better than good. I loved. Sorry, I just had to say that. But he's amazing. I love James. Big love to James, by the way, who's
He's
the
a
other
good
member of the band.
left-handed drummer.
Without a doubt. Yeah, he plays the wrong way round, but that's okay. I'll forgive him. Cool. Okay, so Dave, if people wish to find you, hear the music, check you out at a gig. Obviously, you've mentioned the Lighthouse, which is a bar venue, live music bar venue in Deal and Kent in the UK. But where else on the World Wide Web? Obviously, because we are sort of broadcasting on the World Wide Web. We're going internationally. So where could people find you there, as it were?
It'd be nice if people went to Spotify, I guess, and then YouTube. I've done a couple of videos. I've just done a website, but I'm not that pleased with it, so don't go there. Yeah, I think the main ones is YouTube, Clusters of Eyes on that, and Spotify actually. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I think there are links in the description below for all of that. But Dave, when this is done, if you want to just check for us, and then if there's anything missing, I'll just whack it in after the fact.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a
So
look.
yeah, but just keep your eyes down below. There's lots of links there for all the guys, all their studios, where you can find them, everything else. But obviously, like I say, we'll discuss that as time goes on. Just a quick question from the chat there from Chris Ibbleston. It says, David, did you compare your cans with the 990 Pros, and what was the difference? Sorry, I know, boring question. It's not a boring question at all, Chris.
No, it's funny because I literally did that like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My brother, I bought this because my brother had the 990 Pros, which are about 100 quid. These are like 400 quid or something ridiculous. I got these second hand for like 300.
Nice.
And I did actually do a test, but these are obviously better, but they're probably not £300 better.
Okay.
But my ears are kind of shot away anyway, so I don't particularly trust them. But yeah, I would say it's quite a luxurious thing to own.
They do look nice.
Yes, they look good. That's the main thing.
Turn your head to the side a minute. I just want to. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do look nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got this funny little mini XLR connector. They're cool, but these are the only sort of first time I've splashed out on a pair of headphones. So I've got nothing to compare them to apart from my brother's 990 ones, which did sound very good.
Yeah, I think that's what I've got is the 990 Pros. I can't remember, but I find them a bit too top heavy for my liking personally. But,
Okay.
but I use Sonarworks treatment thing. It's got a headphone thing on there, and it does flatten them out, and they sound pretty decent after that. But without them, I do find everything comes through really shrill.
Okay.
So, but that's to my ears. Everybody's ears are different, obviously.
Yeah, I love them. This are actually the headphones that are on the way that broke after 3 years, and I love it with the higher top end. We talked today about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Mark,
Yeah.
And I played 20 years in a punk band, and the top end in my ears is gone. So they are perfect.
So you need a bit more. Yeah, exactly like me. Exactly like me.
Yeah.
See, I tried to play in bands for years. I keep getting sacked, so yeah, my ears are still good.
I've only sacked you from one band.
That's true. I wasn't actually referring to that, but I'll add that to the list. Okay, cool. So, all right, is everybody cool with that? Everybody happy with that? Shall we move on and actually play the track rather than boring everyone?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if everyone wouldn't mind just muting your mics, I'll flick over
yeah.
to Logic and we'll have a quick listen. Oh, by the way, just quickly, the track's called Era, just so everyone knows. I didn't actually mention that, so. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, nice one.
Apologies. Oh, hold on, it's not stopping. Shit. Oh, sorry, technical problem. I knew it was going to happen. It's that beer. Blame it on the beer. So sorry, I didn't mention before. That's Addy's mix first and foremost. So just to give you a bit of a running order, quick. I should have done this beforehand, but I'm a bit out of sorts with it today. So Addy's first, then we've got Chris's mix next, then Frank's mix, and my mix last. So yeah, really nice, really nice. It seems like the chat is loving the track, Dave. I might add.
Yeah, I don't get to see the chat.
Oh no.
Well, can I bring it up? It's not going to mess up the thing.
No, just as long as you mute YouTube, and then that's all
Okay.
you've got to do. Just mute the audio on it, and then you can hit the chat on there as well. So,
Okay.
but yeah, people seem to be loving the track, Dave. They're loving the track, and really nice mix, Addy. Like really nice mix.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man.
I had so much fun mixing it. I love the track, David. Especially you gave the mix reference for Morphine, and I just love the band.
One of my
Morphine
favorite
is-
bands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Completely
yeah.
underrated band. I'm glad someone knows them because
Oh man, I was in the Czech Republic in a pub, and it was such a little bit boring party, and the barkeeper put Morphine, and I'm like, hey man, what the heck is this?
yeah.
And I asked him to just put this, and we ignored all the other people, and we listened to I don't know 2 or 3 albums.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking everyone on the musical journey with you, Addy. I love it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your approach, Addy, on this, and then everyone can then chip in and offer their viewpoint. on it.
I'm honest. The approach, somehow I hear the track, like the raw mix, and I thought everything is there. I just have to give a little bit more. So I made everything just louder, a little bit fatter, cleaner bass. I wanted that it's like in your face. I mean, the effects were printed already. The effects were perfect. It was such a fun and I don't would say easy process, but it took me 2 or 3 hours to finish this mix because it felt so natural. I didn't thought so much. It was more like a feeling thing.
Yeah, man, and you're definitely right about the fatness of it. Like the low end is just creamy on this mix.
Thank
It's
you,
the only
man.
way I can describe it. It's just creamy. It's silky smooth. It's lovely.
There he goes again.
Oh man, thanks so much. The low end is the crucial thing, yeah. When the low end is the basis on every mix, the foundation. If this is, I don't know. I think it's also the stuff from the Produce Like a Pro Academy that we check every Friday that the low end is good, and somehow it hammered in my head. And this is where I start with the bass. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good mix. Like it's really smooth. I love how bright the cymbals are on it as well. Like they're really crisp. They're not lost in the mix. They're really present. Everything's really, like you say, up front, but nothing's clouded. I really, really like it. It's really good job. Great stereo imagery on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely think it's one of the clearest mixes, like in terms of the overall sort of shape of it, the overall EQ. It's just really open and you can hear everything well. And yeah, it's just coming
Thanks,
through.
Frank.
Great.
Yep.
Uh,
no,
what-
absolutely.
one of the
What I
things
wanted
was
to achieve is,
So I was just going to say, just because Mark mentioned the cymbals, I thought that your hi-hats were excellent. Like, again, sort of the best I heard. They're just really clean, and it didn't have, sometimes you can make hi-hats too sizzly. They've got too much kind of coming through. But yeah, they just sounded really nice. And like you had them
Oh,
at a
man,
good level
thank
where
you.
it really emphasized the groove of the drums. So I think that came across really well.
Oh, thank you so much. Because I thought the groove is the most important part here. Because when the saxophone is alone, like in the verse, I would say, it could get a little bit lost. And I just tried to get the beat going, like in the 80s, like a poof, dash, doof, dash, that it moves on, and that the rest is just sitting there. In general, I don't like the too much top end on the hi hats.
Mm.
So Wait, I can check what I did with them. If I even did something with them. I just cut the low end. There's just one plugin, there's just one
Yeah.
EQ, and I cut everything below 442. As I said, so usually when I start the mix, I just make a raw mix. I don't touch any EQ, any compression, make everything balanced, and then just add a little bit and make it louder. I think this was the whole magic here.
That's the interesting thing about your mixing style, though, isn't it? Like in terms of what apparatus you actually use, and you only use headphones, don't you, because of where you are and mixing facilities and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah, I
is
just got headphones.
yeah. But you were saying about what the Abbey Road Studios plugin that you use as a reference point, and then you move on from there. And I just think it's phenomenal the results you're getting just from using cans. Like, I don't know, I come from a school of thought of always on reference monitors and use headphones for levels if you need to, or panning maybe, but never mix on them. And it's just phenomenal that actually nowadays you can get that kind of result. It's amazing, Addy. Full
Oh, man,
credit.
thank you so much. Yeah, I can't have the speakers because I live with my girlfriend in the camping car and we travel. So I would drive her nuts when I would have speakers there. And so I had to get used to the cans, and this started like 3 years ago. And at the end, yeah, I got the Abbey Road Studio 3 plugin. This emulates the Abbey Road Studio 3, room number 3. So I use it at the beginning to see how wide the mix is. And at the end, I just turn it off. I mix the rest on the headphones, and at the end, I double check when it sounds good on the cans and it sounds good in Abbey Road 3. I just release the stuff.
Yeah, and it works, and it does work. Yeah, there's never been a bad mix, Addy. Like, I'm quite jealous, really.
There is some stuff out there. There is some stuff out there on YouTube.
yeah, buried deep.
But it's part of the process.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I
man.
like it. I don't like to delete it or whatever. I think it's part of the process.
Yeah, man. So, Dave, what are your thoughts on Addy's mix? Like, you've been quite quiet
Andy,
there.
thank you so much. It's amazing. It's so clear and sort of fresh is the word that came to mind.
Oh, thanks.
It's got a fresh sound, and I noticed the subtle kind of movement in the sort of atmospherics for panning. I really enjoyed that.
Oh,
and the ride cymbal, and there's a part you could call it a chorus. It's not a chorus, but when the ride cymbal comes in, excellent, loved it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Dave. Good to hear that from you. Happy you like it, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Addy, did you add something just before the ride section? Because as David just said, like when the ride section comes in, it like really sounds open and like, yeah, fresh is a good word. But before it starts to sound like it's swelling and almost getting kind of congested in a good way, like there's tension there. And then when the ride hits, it's like opens out. I'm just wondering I didn't know if like the reverb was getting thicker or something was going on there.
Yeah, I love reverb automation. So this is the most crucial part at the end. Like reverb automation is doing the rest. Let me check in the mix what I. Yeah, I made it more intense. Like the reverb is feeding into the delay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the old send your effects into other effects.
Cool. So, any other questions? Anyone else want to add anything to it? Anyone from the chat want to add something? No?
It's hard from what I'm hearing now, like, because I've heard it the other day when he sent it through. But when I hear it now, it doesn't quite come through as clear, or not nearly as clear. So it's quite hard for me to add anything off the cuff.
Is that on the because of the live stream and the way it's being compressed through the internet and whatnot at the moment for yourself?
Yeah. It's sounding pretty patchy, but obviously it doesn't sound like that, and I've heard it at its best as well.
Yeah, I mean that's why we send you the stuff prior, because of those technical limitations. Unfortunately, the internet's great, but there is only so much you can do, and especially off a Mac Mini. It's an old 2012 one as well. It's like it sounds like it's going to blow up in a minute. It's proper spinning the fan. But yeah. But yeah, like that's why we send it to you before, so you can kind of get a good idea of what it actually sounds like, and then you can take notes. But obviously, if there is something you notice on the fly, then obviously jump in. But it is what it is. Cool. Okay. Well, without further ado, then let's move on to Chris's mix next. Yeah, everyone happy to do that? Yep. Okie dokie. Mute the mics as well, gents, please. Thanks.
All right.
Awesome stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, again, a lovely, lovely mix. Chris, I'll hand over to you. Let's chat.
So, and it's interesting because obviously we were queued up almost a month ago to do this, and then life happens and whatnot, and COVID, whatever. So I'm kind of looking back through the mix now, saying, okay, what did I do? And I'm looking through it, and I'm like, I didn't do a whole lot. Like this was, I mean, first of all the tracks were really good. There was so much good source material here. Like Addie said, it was just getting it slotted in the right place and then turning it up in the right way. So most of the stuff that's here is just automation, and more so automation on the effects. I mean, there is 2 reverbs, a delay, a slap, an echo. Like everything's being used, but just a little bit here and here, just to give it that little bit more. The only thing that probably the biggest change, and I saw a couple of the comments in here, everyone's talking about the low end and this and that. I did feel the kick was a little lacking as it came over, and so I actually put in a 45 hertz sine wave that's gated correctly and just gives it that little extra bottom end to it.
Yep.
And beyond that, there's not a whole lot. I ran with the bass DI, reamped that actually through Amplitude, and I know they get a lot of crap for not being one of the premium plugins, but they do have some good Ampeg simulation there, and so we just ran with that. Other than that, it's effects, panning, and automation.
Which is interesting because one of the things I picked up on this mix, which I absolutely love, I mean, the saxes, I think, on this mix are way more forward than all the others. And it really does lend itself to like it's just been recorded in a live jazz bar. It just has that real kind of, it's got, I don't know, that vibe to it. Like I've just walked into a jazz bar, I'm sitting down with a beer and I'm checking these guys out. And it really does give it that live essence to it. So really nice job on it, man. I think.
Thanks.
Yeah, like really, really nice. I can't fault it. I did make a load of notes, but I've spoken loads tonight, so I want to give way.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I think it was sort of one of the smoothest sound. Like it sounds really rounded in a nice way. Like the low ends, not kind of aggressive. It's just rounded. Well, yeah, smooth and round, which I think is great. As Mark just said, yeah, the sax is really up front, and you're sort of, it sounds like you're playing about that and the, like, because there's obviously printed effects on the sax part as well, and it sort of feels like you're taking that as the lead, and that really works. And I sort of done the same thing. That was sort of my thinking as well. But then listening between ours, I'm like, oh, actually, mine's just really quiet. I did not do that.
But I'll say part of it is, like I said, I come from a band, rock and hard rock mentality where there's a vocal that, like, that's the part that you want everyone to jump onto. And when you have an instrumental that doesn't have any vocals, you need to find something that's going to be that thing for the listener. And so I felt that the sax was that thing in this one. So it was kind of easy to bring it out.
Yeah. And what you said about automating stuff, I just made a note, like, so one of the things was the delays on the claps. That was, you done it in a nice way where it wasn't every one. So it came and then it went, but it wasn't too sort of overbearing, when an effect is used again and again.
So it technically is every one, but they're alternating left and right, and sometimes they get masked by other things, so you don't always hear them. So yeah, it's this kind of like, does it come in? Does it not come in?
Yeah,
interesting
sort of,
feel.
Yeah, it's at that level where sometimes you pick up on it and then sometimes you don't. So it's got this nice sort of ebb and flow between hearing it and not. And I was going to say as well, your previous mixes have been quite wet compared to this is probably one of your driest mixes. But I like it. I like dry mixes, and I think it really works here.
I think.
Except I used more delays and echoes and effects than I did in the previous.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good mix, and one of the claps was actually one of the things I put on my notes. So and the chat are picking up on that as well. Chris Coral says about the claps and seems to really like all of that, so that's really good. Dave, have you got any viewpoints on it?
Yeah, Chris, excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely not the most. I've written here the most honest interpretation of the track out of the four. I think it's kind of does sound like that live band. You can hear that. But it's also got this kind of warm and dark thing in it I really like. Especially from the bass, which I recorded quite sort of twangy, because I remember now I borrowed a Rickenbacker bass for this, which aren't known for their kind of like dubby tones, and you've kind of brought out the low end in a really nice way in that, which I didn't think to do. Yeah, saxophone's well up there, which wasn't the intention when I did it. It was kind of a bit of an afterthought. But yeah, it's nice to hear it taking the lead for sure. Yeah,
Great.
well done. Good work. Love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Addy, have you got anything to add?
Oh man, I got my notes here with the massive low end. The low end was amazing. I don't know how you did it, because as you said, it was pretty twangy. Really cool that you took a Rickenbacker, but the low end was massive. It was really good, and I love the movement at the beginning of the saxophone, especially at the beginning when you see it come from the left, it come from the right. It was a very wide and very dynamic mix. Really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's when I've done electronic music and you've got a lot of printed tracks like that, I often turn to panning as something to break that up of just these steady state rhythms that not become monotonous, but they're there, and I don't want people to lose interest in how good those rhythms are.
And you've done a good job of that. Sorry, I was taking a swig of beer. Right? I was expecting a little more of a sentence. Sorry.
No worries.
Goddamn beer is ruining the evening. Cool. Right. Well, like I say, it's a great mix. Done really well. Like I say, like Dave said, I think Dave summed it up perfectly. It's the most honest mix there, and I think you've done a grand job of that, man. Well done. Well done.
That's the best compliment I can get. Thank you.
Cool. So are we ready to move on to the next one?
Aye.
Cool. Okay, so this is Frank's mix. Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
Guys.
How'd you do it, Frank? Seriously, man. The chat are blowing up all over that bass. It's all about that bass, man. You killed it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was quite happy with the bass.
Yeah, you should be, man. It's awesome. No, nicely done. Nicely done. So tell us a little bit about it, Frank.
Yeah, so loaded up when I was loading up the tracks, as everyone said already, like they're great kind of source tracks to work with. So it was more about what sort of direction you wanted to take it, and there's just a couple of things that's influenced me in one direction first of all, and then I went another way. So the synth bass, the sort of organ bass, reminded me a lot of Comtrue's kind of stuff, like really intense, kind of low but gritty bass. So I sort of had that in my head, but Comtrue's is very has really upfront kick snare, really dry, punching through. So that's how I started. And also the sax part reminded me of CFCF, which has some kind of almost 80s sounding sax. So I sort of went that direction. And I'd done this mix, my first mix, and it was pretty punchy. And then I got your list of reference tracks, and I listened through to them. And mainly I was focusing on DJ Shadow and sort of the whole Introducing album. I mean, I hadn't listened to it in like 10 years or something. So it was good to revisit that. And kind of the drums and organ, obviously that's all sampled from vinyls and things like that. So it's quite lo-fi, really. And I thought, okay, you're probably not looking for a kind of Comtruesy kick snare smashing through. So I was like, okay, let's try and do this sort of more lo-fi sample drums. And something I've always struggled in the past, especially when working with other people, when they've asked for that kind of lo-fi sound, it's how to get that while still sounding like a finished product. To me, it sounds like I can even make it sound like a demo, or I can make it sound sort of polished and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I thought it would be a nice challenge for me to actually try and get it sounding good, but also bad at the same time. So yeah, try to get kind of roomy drums, and like I was using isotope vinyl that I know Mark you used before to get that old kind of sound.
It's always a
Plugin
good.
called Decimort. I don't know if anyone's used that.
Which one? Decimator.
Decimort.
Oh, Decimal. No, I haven't heard of Decimal.
So that's a sort of like a sampler. So you can pick your like MPC, like how it would bit crush it a little bit because it would be sampling the sound at 12 bits or whatever. So kind of done that. And then then it was, as Chris done, sort of focusing on the sax, and I was just, and as Addy done, and using automation on your reverbs and delays just to add a bit of interest and keep the movement. But I kept it fairly. I thought David, you'd done a really good job with the effects you'd already done on the sax, and the places that they came in. Like I thought, okay, there's something happening there. There's something happening here. So it's just kind of bringing those out. That's what I tried to do anyway.
I think you did a good job of it, Frank.
Yeah.
Well, evidently, it's amazing. Right? Just a few notes on that. Like, I love how forward you got the effects from the sax in this.
Just literally turning them up.
Yeah. But it's a scary thing to do because it's kind of like, yeah, they're meant to be there, but are they meant to be as like in your face like that? But man, it works. And I love at the end. Like, I love the drums in it anyway. You definitely nailed that lo-fi sound. But at the end, I love how you bring back the original drums into it. And just once again, star quality.
The real sort of roomy sound.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, because after all that, you almost want to hear it, make it. It's just nice to bring it back to like, oh, it's like someone playing drums because there's so much electronic kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Rip it back a bit.
But that bass, it's all about that bass. That bass is just Lovely.
Yeah, I
Anyone
was
else?
doing
Sorry, go on.
with the bass, I sort of doubled part of it, I think. I mean, there's a few different bass parts as well, so I made them quite wide, processed them differently. I was parallel processing some stuff, and sort of actually getting the high end out of the bass, so getting that real sort of grit.
Yeah.
Actually, weirdly, that makes it sound bassier, just because you're hearing
Yeah, well, it's that
what you
psychoacoustic thing,
perceive
isn't
the
it?
perceived low end coming up.
Yeah. No, it's a really nice job. Anyone else want to chip in?
Yeah, I liked it. It sounded so saturated and exciting, like from the first moment. Like really nice, and the dynamics are perfect, man. When you made the break, I couldn't nail it that good, like you. So it goes really low and then punches in your face. I really like it, and especially the synths. They sound like a layer on top, and they jump in front of you. I don't know how you did it, but really nice 3D spacing in this mix.
Oh,
Good
thanks.
job, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I do some things either. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
What you're doing. Yeah, so
And
to get that
that's-
sort of punch coming through, like right at the end, like on the original track, there's a floor tom, like a little feel, like, "Dudum, boom, dudum." And I just took that out, basically, just so it like really settles down, quiet, and then just now we're in. And I think that sort of helps the punch.
Amazing.
Cool. Dave?
Yes, this one's outrageous. Yeah, love it. Great. Yeah, it's had the most kind of transformation, I think, this one. And possibly the kind of most signature sound to it, I guess. Great use of the atmospherics. I love all especially the sax stuff being up front. I sort of really enjoyed that. Whereas I tried to sort of bury it a bit. It's nice to have that up front, I think. And actually, a lot of the tracks I get, it's funny because everyone's been saying a lot of the effects have been printed, and I'm not sure. The sax I know is done by my good friend Ben Powling. You know Benji, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, I know Benji. Yeah, great sax player. Really good.
Yeah, so it was amazing to have him play on it. But he actually looked after his own effects with that one. He literally manipulated a Memory Man echo effects pedal as he played those parts.
Oh yeah.
And I think he just dropped a microphone into the bell of the sax and just went for it. So that's all that is. That's just all him, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great that stuff.
Yeah. What else have I put? Yeah. Deeply satisfying low frequencies. That's one of my notes. Yeah, the drum sound I think is great. I was going to ask, did you replace any of the drum hits, or they've just been processed from what I've given you?
So when I was doing my first mix, which was that, like I said, that full on kick snare, I did have I did put extra samples in.
Yeah.
I don't think you've heard that one though.
Okay.
And then I think in the end I completely took them out. If they're in there, it's like super quiet, and I might as well take them out. But yeah, there might have been something in there.
Okay, well, yeah, hats off to you. What else? I was going to say something else. Yeah, because I'm quite a big fan of at least replacing the kick drum so it's consistent every time. And I usually replace it. I usually try and replace it with a sample of the same kick drum, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
And so something. I don't know if anyone used that particular track in the mix, and maybe you guys didn't. You just went for the live kind of raw kick drum sound.
Yeah, I mean, I would have never got rid of the original.
Yeah, sure.
That was always in there. I'd always just, if I do use samples, it has a little booster to what, unless the drums are absolutely terrible, but they weren't.
Yeah, amazing. Loved it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Chris, have you got anything to add?
No, it was like everyone else said, it was very full front to back, a great 3D soundscape, which I really liked. I wasn't sitting there listening to the soundscape thinking that there was any holes in it. So, I mean, great job of just filling the whole space up.
Cheers, man.
As I think it's Cry 9C says ear massaging lows.
I aim to do massage your ears.
If you need your ears massaging, Frank's your man. Cool.
I got a
Okay.
question.
Oh, go on.
Just a question. Did we answer the question from Chris Kersey?
I
If
don't think we
that's,
did. It was something about the effects on the sax on Chris's track, wasn't it? About a detuned thing at the beginning. Was that
Yeah.
right? Did you
Is
do
that
some?
a time shift or a pitch shift or other cool effect on the intro detuning?
There isn't on that. The only thing that's in there is trying to look through it real quick. It was basically on one of them. I just used the Bauer motion from waves to panning side to side, but other than that, that didn't have any detuning or pitch shifting on that section. There was one thing on the organ that I threw a time shifter in it just to give it a exaggerated Haas effect, but that was about it.
Cool. Sorry if I'm being a bit lax on the chat, guys, and actually keeping up with what's going on, but I'm like Rayman in here. I've just got too many things to press and organise and sort out. So hopefully the guys will catch up with it like Addy just did, and then let us know, and we'll go from there. And obviously, if I do pick up on it, I will add it to the show. So, okay. So, anything else anybody want to add on that? Anybody else want to discuss anything or add anything to that? No. Man, I don't want to follow up on that now. I don't want to play my track. I think we're done. Where can we find everyone? Okay, yeah. So I've got to follow up you three guys, and that's a tall challenge. But this is how I'm going to do it. So without further ado, this is my mix.
If you're just looking at what's happening now, it's like this train is gonna speed by you. You have to imagine where the puck is going to be, not where it is now. That's where we are now. What's that going to mean in 20, 50, 100 years? Science fiction, predictive genetics. Predictive genetics. Science fiction, predictive genetics. DNA has unlimited storage capacities. Predictive genetics. It's baked in. Predictive genetics. Baked in. Science fiction. DNA has 4 billion years of history. Baked in. Baked in. Predictive genetics. We have to imagine where the puck is going to be, not where it is now. That's where we are now. What's that going to mean in 20, 50, 100 years?
Our universe isn't unique, isn't alone, that there are many universes. We call it a multiverse. And that at any instance in time, in kind of a cosmic super time, there's always a universe being born. So that multiverse might be infinite and eternal. The edges of our visible universe, space is expanding faster away from us than light. Nothing can travel through space faster than light, but space can do whatever the hell it wants.
It's baked in genetics. That's where we are now. Science fiction. Predictive genetics.
Unique multiverse.
Baked in.
There's always a universe being born.
Science fiction.
The edges of our visible universe, space is expanding faster away from us than light. Nothing can travel through space faster than light. This can do whatever the hell it wants.
All right, nice one.
Oh.
Oh, awesome.
Good job.
Thanks, guys. Nice one. Ooh, I'm all nervous now. Like I'm messing this up. So yeah, there we go. That was my mix. Different from the others. There was two kind of reasonings behind that. For me, I mean, I love my instrumental music, and this is no disservice to you, Dave, because this track is banging, right? I absolutely love this track, but it just felt like it needed either another section or something to bed it in, and so it was a bit of a bold move on my part, and I apologise for that. But at the same time, I wouldn't normally do it, but then I thought, well, I'm up against three amazing producers and engineers here, and I've probably got no chance because this is well out of my remit in terms of engineering electronica stuff. So why not? What have I got to lose? So I felt like, you know, I am a fan of DJ Shadow, and I know he uses a lot of kind of samples, especially on the introducing track and stuff, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So I went and looked for something that would fit, and I tried Carl Sagan, I tried a few other bits, and yeah, in the end ended up going with some Joe Rogan stuff. So sorry, Joe. And yeah, so that was that. In terms of the track, I did replace the snare, not because it wasn't any good. It just, when I was mixing it in my mix personally, it just wasn't quite sitting right. So I used Superior Drummer 3 and just did some replacements on that snare. The kick, as you were mentioning earlier, I used your original kicks, both of them. So they're both in there embedded. And yeah, I sort of played around with the panning of the instruments and stuff like at the beginning. I liked how the sax came in left and right. And then I liked how it sat around the vocal where he's talking about being on a train and how it's progressing, and then you've got the sax in the left ear and the sax in the right ear, almost kind of trying to mimic a Doppler effect of a train moving. I suppose that was the image I had in my head. But yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with it, really. I think compared to the other mixes, if I'm honest, mine probably sounds a little over compressed and a little bit flat. So apologies for that, but obviously until you get to hear the other mixes, you don't know. So at that point, I thought it was sounding great. But yeah, over to you guys. Obviously, if you've got questions or anything you want to say, then yeah. So
yeah, no, I thought it was great, Mark.
thanks.
I was going to ask if the snare was sampled because it did just sound. I thought either you've done some crazy stuff to that original snare, or you've brought in a new one. I wanted to ask about the reverb on the snare as well, because it sort of went. It sounded more than just like a standard reverb. Like it almost sounded like the snare had white noise on it, or the reverb was like white noise, and it sort of.
The white noise might be. I was trying to get the lo-fi sound to the drums. I don't know if I achieved that or not. I think compared to your mix, Frank, probably not. But once again, I brought out the old faithful Wolfbeck compressor. So the noise you're hearing, like the white noise and the hiss in that, is more than likely going to be the Wolfbeck compressor.
Oh, okay.
Adding
Cool.
to that.
I thought it worked. It was nice. It almost sounded like it pitched up, like white noise pitching up, if that was possible. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously everything's then fit because I mix my drums independently and then I bust them through to the Wolfpack compressor and do a bit of parallel compression with it, and then I think I then send all of that to the reverb, and the snare's then got its own reverb, and the snare I believe is just a plate, just a genuine, an ordinary plate snare sound, or a reverb sound. Sorry. So yeah, that was that, I think. But like I said, definitely the white noise would be created by the Wolfpack compressor.
yeah. Oh no, it worked definitely. Also, like the whiplash clap.
Yeah, so that is the original snare, right? So
Right.
that's the original snare cut up and then reversed, and then obviously with the claps, and then the claps go through a fuck ton of reverb just to give it
Yeah.
that real spacey sound.
Putting us into the Wild West.
Well, that, or in my head, the emptiness of space. But thanks.
I will say actually as well, I really liked on your sampled vocals, the delay you had on them. Because again, if you're trying to sort of, put something in space, it really sounded, it made it sound like your subconscious or your, kind of outer worldly again.
Yeah, once again, that's
it's
kind
not
of
like someone talking to you.
Yeah, exactly, and that was kind of the vibe I was trying to create. So I'm glad you picked up on that. Thanks, man. But that's down to the Epic CLA plugin that came out recently with Waves. I thought it was a good opportunity to try it. And it seemed to fit perfect straight away. I was like, oh, okay, that's staying. That'll do. I was sort of worried because that effect is almost overkill. And it was almost a little bit too much. But the more I listened to it, the more I was kind of like, actually, no, I kind of like it. I kind of like where it's at.
I think it really worked. And it helped add that rhythm, and the rhythm helped it tie in with the track a lot more rather than just feeling like it was plunked on top.
Yeah, and like I say, that for me was where, like I say, it needed something just to bed in with the track to kind of just, I don't know, not finish it because it was finished, but you know what I mean? Just for me, it just felt like it was just missing that last little puzzle piece, and that just seemed to lock in for me. But rightly or wrongly, once again, I'm sure Dave will critique it in a minute for us and give me his. Yeah.
Shall I jump in?
Well, whoever, yeah, man, it's open. It's open.
No, I'll go
open-
last. I don't mind.
Open floor to whoever wants to jump in and say something about it. Really.
Yeah, I absolutely love the additional production what you added there.
Thanks, man.
I got panic. Yeah, because we listened to tracks before we jump on the show. And I got panic and I called you like, hey man, did I miss some multi-tracks?
I should say at this point, yes. No, I'm joking. No.
Yeah, and also just killer 80s vibe, and
Nice.
yeah, I also love the reverb on the snare. It's cool that you explained already where it came from. So that nothing else from my side. I totally enjoy your production. It sounded so cool, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Well, same to you guys. Do you know what I mean? Look, I admire you all. Do you know what I mean? And I'm honoured to be sharing this platform with you. Like it's I don't seem worthy. I don't deem myself worthy half the time. Do you know what I mean? But it's nice. It's really, really cool. So thank you very much. So yeah, Dave, would you like to? I'm going to run away.
Thank
at
you
this
so
point.
much. Yeah, Mark, loved it. Thank you. Really enjoyed it. Sounded quite cinematic in parts. I kind of imagined it might be on like a Mission Impossible soundtrack or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For me, it shifted my perception of where that track could sort of like be placed. So that was quite interesting.
Cool.
And I think the samples only added to that kind of feeling as well. I guess it's the idea. It feels like it could be film dialogue or something, but it's good, man. Samples, yeah, great, loved them. Maybe I would have pulled out some of them and just had them a bit more kind of ethereal, hanging in the air a bit more or something.
Yeah, I must admit, like you should have heard the first version.
Just
But
all the music.
yeah, right. It's I even felt that even this version had too much. But once again, the nature of this program is you don't have that client liaison. So in any normal circumstances, if you was to come to me as a client and we did this, I would suggest this idea. I'd whack loads of shit at the wall and then remove it bit by bit, play it to you,
Yeah.
and then I'd remove some more bit by bit until we got to a happy medium, or just took it out completely because you'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But
Oh,
either
it's quite nice. You don't know. It's quite nice in this format, though, isn't it? Like, that you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it.
exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, I think in this instance, it's a good place to experiment with things you wouldn't normally do. But at the same time, it's a good way to kind of, once again, like, you've had 3 different versions of the same song, or 4 different versions of the same song, and each are wildly different.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I think that's the best bit about this show, is it kind of shows that, like, sometimes it is good to get another pair of ears on it, and sometimes it's good to experiment with different producers and different, because it takes it away from a realm that you would necessarily feel comfortable with, but end up actually enjoying and liking, and taking you down a different route you never thought possible. So yeah, that's kind of my angle on it, really, and that's why I like this platform. But
And yeah, I was just grinning when I heard that initially as well. Like, and in a way, it's kind of like how I approached this track anyway, as a bit of a collaboration. Like the sax, I didn't know what he was going to play.
Yep.
Even the kind of spacier middle part with the different. There's a few different synth patterns in that.
Yep.
A friend, I was lucky enough to get a friend. Well, it's a guy I don't know that well. I've kind of always said hello to him around town. And after these lockdowns happened and everything, we got chatting online. I'm like, oh yeah. I wrote to him like, oh, someone told me you do a bit of music. It's like, yeah, I've got this like amazing setup of modular synths. I'm like, shit, just like have this track, just put some stuff on it. And that's what came back as well. So it's nice we're kind of building something between a few people.
Yeah, man.
That's great.
That's what music's about, is it not? Ideally, is to be collaborative and everybody's input brings something new and fresh to the to the table, as it were. But
yeah, and that's kind of been emphasised in the recent months, and like I've enjoyed working like that as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, a doubt. Cool. So, anyone else got anything to say? Is there anyone in the chat mentioning anything, by the way?
All gone to bed.
No questions, I don't think.
No.
I've been
No, good feedback for sure.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback, guys. I really, really appreciate that. Much love, man. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, it's nice. The chat's been very busy.
Yeah, it's been very proactive today. It's good. Please come back next time. It's good. Well, and I swear we'll endeavour to be more involved next time as well. So yeah, it's cool. So okay, Dave. So I suppose now it's the inevitable. The dum dum dum.
You got your snare ready?
The big reveal.
Yeah. So, if you was to pick one, not that it's a competition, no one's winning a boat or anything. But if you was to pick one of us
Why
to,
not?
well, mate,
David, why
I only
why do I
promised you
do
that to get you on the show. Sorry, dude.
Now you tell me.
Oh, Frank's gone. So yeah, none of us are winning a boat. I'll just reiterate that, or anything. But like, in terms of if you had done this in the real world and gone to 4 different studios, who do you think would have been the one that you would have picked, or would like to pick for future work, going forward from here, to be on your album?
Well, I love them all. And again, thanks for the work. I mean, between you, I guess that's going to be plenty of hours work. So I appreciate that. If I had to choose one, I leapt on Frank's one, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's a great mix. Well done, Frank.
I'm really glad you like it, because, like everyone said, when we're sort of doing stuff blind in terms of no contact with the artists. Yeah, you sort of take a punt on some directions. And you just hope you don't offend.
Yeah,
I mean, that one not only did that did different stuff to what I could imagine as well. So it's kind of exceeded what I could sort of hope for in that track in a way. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
Great.
Well deserved, Frank. I'd just like to point out, by the way, this is the first time you've actually used the reference materials, and look what it done for you. I just.
Yeah, maybe I'll learn my lesson.
Cool. Okay. Right. Well, thank you, everybody. This has been awesome. I'm really pleased Frank's won this. Well done, mate.
Who won last? Who won last one?
I think I won the last one,
Yeah, Mark did.
so I'm not bitter.
What
honest.
number of these have we done now?
This
I-
is the second one with an artist and our fourth one overall, I believe, isn't it, gents? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other two had wasn't from an artist, so they couldn't pick. We didn't have anyone to pick a winner.
Yeah, but this is kind of how we're going forward, I think. Not that really the picking and the winner thing matters. It's more just for the artists and for the producers, really, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to be working studios. And I think this is a good way to be mutually collaborative in terms of presenting the artist's work and also presenting the studio's work. And fingers crossed that, they start earning some money and getting some work in and reputation that they deserve.
Of course,
that's kind of what this platform's about, especially in these challenging times for everyone where no one can gig and studios are closed and stuff. It's kind of showing that there is another method of working using the power of the internet, and it does work. Everyone can record stuff, but sometimes, like I say, it's good to get a second pair of ears to actually mix it for you, and that's where people like us come in. It's that's the idea of it. So, without further ado, Chris, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, the whole works. It's Red Oxide Studio. Links are obviously down below. Hit the like and subscribe and the little bell there, which so you can keep coming back to all these. But there's links to my website and I think SoundCloud down there. You can see some other stuff I've done. So check it out. Send me a message. If you don't like it, still send me a message. Happy to hear why you don't, and we can and I can tell you you're wrong. But no, it's reach out to any of us. It's been a great platform for sure.
Yeah, nice. And once again, guys, I'm going to keep repeating this. Down below, the links to everybody's stuff. Obviously, if there are any links missing, gents, let me know. I'll add them in. Addy, where can people find you? And also, please tell us about where we can get your Mix Production Academy course, if that's okay.
At first, I would also pick Frank's mix. It was incredible, man. I love what you're doing, and I'm learning also through this Mix of Mondays. It's a wonderful experience. Just shortly, we have a mobile recording studio, and we travel the world and support artists all around with free video, now even free album productions that are supported, financed via Patreon, and now also via ProMix Academy, where I made 40 plus hours of mixing tutorials, where you can mix bands from the desert of Morocco, from the mountains of Morocco, folk music from Poland, and so on. So you can head over to promixacademy.com. There are the mixing tutorials, inexpensive compared to others, and they help us to continue with this journey. You can find us on Instagram. You can on Hit the Road Music. Always feel free to say hi. I'm very communicative. Then of course on Facebook you can leave us a like. You can go on our YouTube channel and subscribe. We have 60 plus music videos with artists from all around the world. There is definitely something you can discover. Now I started a new podcast as well, Hit the Road Music Podcast. The second episode came out today. There's so much stuff going on. Oh my God.
You are a busy man, sir. I don't know how you're doing it.
Yeah. I love it. It's just the love to music.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And the last thing, our webpage, hittheroadmusic.com. There will be also the link down in the description.
Sorry,
So
Addy.
always happy
Addy,
to
could
hear
you?
from you if you like the music.
Sorry, could you repeat that last bit because you just suddenly went all digital.
Oh, this was the plug-in here.
Yeah.
You can head over to our webpage as well. The link is down there in the description, www.hittheroadmusic.com.
Cool.
And yeah, say hi. Let me know what you think. If you know any bands that you like us to record, because we will travel more.
Nice. I'd just like to say, by the way, Addy, I know you've been on a couple of episodes now as a guest presenter, but I feel like you're really part of the family. Like I think, it's really good to have you on board with me, Chris, and Frank. And yeah, I think we all. Well, I don't know if the guys agree, but I'm sure they won't mind. But I'd like to offer you a full-time position with us as as a Mix Off Monday
Oh, nice.
coalition crew member, aficionado from this moment forward.
So
So
nice.
Thank you so much.
no worries. I mean, obviously, you don't have to turn up on every episode. Like that's fine, and as that goes for everybody, you know, we can mix it around. We've got plenty of people, but it's I'd like to make you here and now an official member of the Mix Off Monday crew, as it were. So nice one, thanks, Addy. Cool. On to
Thank
Frank,
you so
the
much.
winner of the night, as it were. Yeah. Where can we find you? Where can people get to you? Where can people get?
Yeah, so online, frankleonardwalker.com. That's my website. Hopefully there will be more. I sort of do as you can sort of see behind me. This is my studio, and I'm doing a sort of studio build blog that I haven't actually posted about in a while, but I've been a bit busy. But yeah, hopefully you can find stuff there. Follow the journey of this build. Might be of interest to you if you're interested in acoustics and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can contact me through there, and then any sort of social, you know, Facebook, Instagram, will be / Frank Leonard Walker Frank Leonard Walker, no.com. Yeah, but well, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone's mixes because it all sounded great. Thanks to Clusters of Eyes for the great track to work on as well. It's been fun.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, thank you. And obviously, once again, links are all in the description below. If there isn't anything, guys, let me know. And if anybody has any questions post this and wants to ask me, hit me up on here or Facebook or whatever, and I'll link you up as soon as I can. No problems. And Dave, the star of the show, sir.
Oh, come on.
No, seriously, man. If it weren't for you, we'd have nothing to mix. You know what I mean? You are the product, right? So you know.
Much appreciated. But yeah, I loved all the mixes. It's going to kind of make me probably try and mix better myself. So thank you very much.
Well, Dave, I love your mixes anyway. You are very good at what you do, both recording and engineering wise. But like I say, the whole point of this is that we all learn from each other, right? In some way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a great project. I'm glad you guys have got this together.
Yeah, man. Well, you'll be part of it soon. Hopefully, you'll be on here as well as a guest engineer. So but thank you, David. So where can we find you once again? Where can people find you? For whatever
just type
project
it in the internet, you know how it works.
Yeah, just Google it.
Clusters of Eyes, Yeah.
Cool. And it's Clusters, not Cluster. Just so everyone knows, it was our mistake.
Plural, yeah.
Yeah, plural. Cool. Okay, so just a quick update. Obviously, for me, you can find me on marleraudio.com. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I've forgotten half the places. I'm also on Air Gigs. Yeah, all of that. So you can find me on there. Just Google Marler Audio. You'll find me on Google, as it were. And like I say, Facebook and YouTube and all the rest of it. Obviously, if you want to be part of this, if you would like to be a guest engineer, Chris Ibiston, sorry. I know you, sir, and I know you're an amazing engineer. And if you wish to be part of this, would love you to be part of it. Just hit me up on Facebook or on an email, and we'll see if we can get something sorted out for a future episode. And that goes for anyone that is interested as a guest engineer. Obviously, if you are an artist and you would like to be part of the show and have the track played on a radio station a week later, then please do hit me up, info@marleraudio.com. We can then have a discussion, send the tracks over, and I'll issue it out to the various engineers, and we'll go from there. Talking about that, we've got 2 episodes coming up, which I'll keep you posted on. And one is going to be for the 28th of this month, right after Christmas, I know. But once again, we've been delayed, so we're kind of ahead of ourselves in some respects. So this is for an artist called Cole Street. We've got a track of his called Diamonds and Pearls, and we'll be presenting that on the night. And the next day, I think he's releasing the album, so that's quite interesting. And it's a really good track. This one's a little bit lacking on production, so we've all put our own stance on it. So it's going to be even more varied than tonight's versions. And then we've got a really, really exciting episode post that in the beginning of January. We haven't got a date yet. We're still waiting for the material, but we're going to have a band called Epic from America. And we're going to do a UK versus USA Mix Off Monday. So we've got 2 American mix engineers, one being Chris, and another guy called Matt that Addy had referred that won one of his competitions. And then you've got me and Frank. So we've got it. And I think Addy's going to come in as a judge. So yeah, it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to this episode. So yeah, that's one to stay tuned for. It should be interesting. So yeah, but other than that, thank you very much, everybody in the chat. Really positive comments there. I can't thank you enough for sticking around. Amazing. Much love to you all. The more that, and please like and share and subscribe and hit the bell. And yeah, the more we can get people following this, the better it is for all these guys. You know, we can help support each other and hopefully push something forward in, you know, and into greater realms than where we are today. Dave, thank you very much. Really, honestly, it's been an honor to mix that track, and thank you for allowing us to do that. I'm glad you got what you wanted out of it, as it were. Thank you guys for putting all your hard work in and being part of this. Amazing job. Every track sounded amazing. And I would have found that a hard job to choose, Dave, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I loved Chris's mix. I loved that jazzy vibe to it. I thought that was brilliant. Frank's mix also was amazing. Addy's mix, they're just so hard to choose. Like I would have struggled. But well done for choosing and well earned, Frank. Well earned.
It's lucky we don't need to do the choosing.
Yeah.
We get the easy job.
We have got the easy job, you know. But yeah, so without further ado, thank you very much, everybody. Much love. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the other side. And guys, if you wouldn't mind sticking around, we can have a chat afterwards. But yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.